dos, uno, dos, tres, cuatro. You see that black boy over there running scared? His old man in the bottom. He done quit his 9 to 5. He drink full time. Now he's living in the bottom. See that black boy over there running scared? His old man got a problem, and it's a bad one. He ain't done pawned off damn near everything. His old woman away for bottom. And don't you think it's a crime when time after time after time people in the bottom, there's people living in the bottom.
Hello, this is Dan Perkins from America's Cannabis Conversation, and I'm here to talk to you about how you can take responsibility for your own health. CV Science products that can help you empower yourself against the COVID-19 virus are CV Acute and CV Defense. The Acute product is taken at an early onset of feelings of discomfort and works over 3 days to assist your immune system to fight off the virus. The second product is CV Defense, which is taken daily, and it helps to optimize the power of your immune system to fight off this virus. Recently on my program, I had an interview with Dr. Michael Lewis, who's been in public health for decades. I asked him about personal responsibility, and he said,
"You are responsible for your own health. Don't count on the government to provide you with a magic pill or a magic shot for your health. That is your personal responsibility."
If you want to empower yourself and take control of your healthcare, go to empoweryourself.info. That's empoweryourself.info and take care of your healthcare.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back to the show. It's The Reality Check here with Charles Butler at Red State Talk Radio. We are doing our thing. It's Tuesday, and I have my main man, Frank Vernuccio, with me. We're going to kick it up for you, talk about the Biden administration, things that are going on today. Frank and I talked about several months ago, even last year. This is a guy in Joe Biden, Bob Gates, who's, kind of non-political. I think he's more liberal and more Democrat than anything else. But he said that Joe Biden hadn't been right about a foreign policy decision in 40 years. And he's constantly reiterated that. This is a man who headed the CIA and the Defense Department. Hey, Frank, welcome aboard. Welcome back as usual. Let's get
Great to be with you, Charles.
Yeah, thanks, man. Let's get into it. This has been interesting. It's been, it's been right there with a lot of very interesting breaks. People have said, hey, Joe Biden said, hey, even if we got into this 15 years ago, it would still be shaky. And I think he's right, of course, but the bottom line is we didn't do it 15 years ago. We did it. We did it last year. And the difference is the Taliban was not going to buffalo Donald Trump. He told him in no uncertain terms and undiplomatic terms that he would bomb them into ashes if they hurt any Americans.
Let's clarify what we're talking about. We're not talking about the decision to withdraw from Afghanistan. Pretty much that was a bipartisan thing that was going to happen one way or the other. What we're talking about is the manner in which it was conducted. And the news today is perhaps one of the most disgraceful in American history. The Taliban announced that they were going to block access to the airport if Joe Biden said that he would extend the withdrawal deadline past August 31st, which seems to be a necessity because we can't simply get all of our people out of there in time. Unfortunately, Biden, rather than saying just what you suggested, hey, if you do that, if you block access to the airport, we're going to bomb you into oblivion, the president basically took a knee. He surrendered and he said, we guarantee that we'll be out of there August 31st, come what may. In other words, even if Americans are left behind.
Hey, listen.
Now, look, withdrawal from Afghanistan, again, was one thing, but we left $80 billion worth of advanced military equipment there. And the eventual winner of that, the eventual taker of that equipment, one way or the other, will be China. The Taliban will sell it to China in return for economic aid, in return for other goodies. Now, in criminal trials, there is a phrase called cui bono, which translates from the Latin into who benefits. When you look at the sum total of Joe Biden's efforts, domestically or foreign, it's China that always seems to benefit. China benefits from the way he withdrew from Afghanistan, leaving behind that $80 billion, some of its sensitive military equipment. If you look at his environmental and energy policies, it's China that winds up benefiting because all those solar panels and wind turbines are made in China. Now, Charles, should we be labeled a conspiracy theorist when we say that it's evident that the Biden family has been made financially rich by the Chinese, and in return, a lot of these things happen?
Joe, you've noticed how they're not talking about his brother stealing. They're not talking about Hunter stealing. You know, we had a guy right before the election who came out and said, I met with Joe Biden. Joe Biden's part of this organization. You know, he is taking money from these different entities. Do you notice how this guy's been? He was suppressed during the election campaign. The mainstream media wouldn't cover him. You know, Joe Biden's a crook. We have a crook in the White House. We have a guy who's unpatriotic. We have a guy who's doing business as usual, which is selling off America. And, you know, this is the problem that I have with that. You have dummies who went out there and voted for this guy, knowing all the time he's a corrupt SOB. Now, I have associates who voted for Joe Biden because they didn't like the way that Donald Trump spoke. He's too rough. He's not politically correct. Well, how about the political correctness you get when you pull up to the goddamn gas pump with your dumb asses? Who could go out and vote for this son of a gun? No.
Yeah, and let's be clear where the culpability lies as well. Joe Biden is a buffoon and he's a corrupt son of a gun. But we knew also that he was incompetent. And we also know that Kamala Harris was incompetent. She even got, 2% of the vote in her home state. So who is also responsible with Joe Biden? You have to point to the leadership of the Democratic Party. They were the ones who foisted the fable on us that this guy had all his marbles, when in fact he doesn't. They were the ones who knew that Kamala Harris was utterly incapable of being a dog catcher, let alone vice president, God forbid, president of the United States of America.
But she was black.
You have to leave it.
She's half black, dude. She's half Jamaican and half Indian, and she's the daughter of an immigrant. And, you know, hey.
Charles, you know, you look at all of this.
Hey, I'm looking at it. Bro, I'm looking at it right here.
And here's something very interesting that's going to happen. That's going to be an earthquake in New York, in American politics. Larry Elder is inches away from becoming governor of the state of California. He's a black man and a conservative. The racism of the white media, which tries to tell us that buffoons like Al Sharpton are the spokespersons for black voters, I think is about to be stood on its end. How will they reject the governor of the state of California, who happens to be a black conservative, and then say that a buffoon like Al Sharpton is the spokesperson, not a Larry Elder? There have been several polls taken recently that show some fascinating events. Number one, the suburban housewives who basically drifted away from Trump and towards Biden, we are told anyway, you can't trust anything that occurred in the election of 2020, were responsible for helping put Biden in the White House. Then we were told that independents, upset that Donald Trump was mean, helped put Biden in the White House. Last polling indicates that they have fled Biden and are now favoring GOP candidates. And of course, the third and main pillar is that black voters who benefited tremendously economically under the Trump administration, we're told that nevertheless they voted for Joe Biden. I don't know if I believe that those were actual honest results, but that's what we're told.
Let me tell you something, man. I have clients who have told me that they got together as a family to decide who to vote on. And one family had 40 people. They voted for Donald Trump.
Yeah, I'm quite sure. But now the polls indicate that those voters are now also going to the GOP side of the ledger.
Yeah.
And there's a reason.
Why do you think they're bringing all these ignorant immigrants into the country? These people,
well, that's exactly right.
These people who they're letting into the country are being told that the Democratic Party is for the poor person. So they'll have another generation of ignorant ass people. These people are so ignorant, they can't even learn English. They'll never learn to read or write English. That's how ignorant they are. These are illiterate people who are coming here from Honduras, Guatemala, Mexico. These are illiterate people. These aren't people who are learned. These aren't people who have a high school. I think less than 3% of these people have a high school education or high school
Charles,
level education.
Let me tell you a story about that. Some time ago, I was the head of the Workers' Compensation Board for the New York City area.
Okay.
And of course, if you go to workers' compensation, you have a hearing to determine your eligibility.
Right.
We were obligated to find translators for those folks who don't speak English. You would have thought it was a relatively simple task when someone came from Honduras, Guatemala, or El Salvador. Hey, Spanish translators are a dime a dozen. Here's the problem. A lot of those folks don't even speak Spanish.
They're right. They don't speak Spanish. They speak Ebonics.
And nor are they literate in any written language.
Exactly. That's the problem. But see, the Democrats need people like that. Wait a minute. They've lost the black people in America like that because guess what? The black people have been uplifted, and black people are looking at jobs. They're not thinking about a damn social program. They're looking at jobs. Hold just 1 second, Frank. Hold just 1 second. I'm going to put you on hold. Hey, Tim, I'm on the air. You're on the air. So say hello to my audience.
Hello, audience.
And
how you doing, bud?
I'm good. Hey, Tim, I'll see you at the reunion on Friday. I'll give you a call back after.
Great. You coming?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I'll see you after.
Talk to you later.
Okay, bro.
All right. See you.
Bye. That's one of my classmates from. Frank. Frank.
I'm here.
Yeah, that was one of my classmates from high school. We're doing a 50th year reunion this weekend, so it's all good. It's all great. Hey, look. So my question is very simple, dude, and that is, we were talking about speaking English and the illiterates. They've lost the black community now because the black community has become what? Literate in spite of the poor schools, in spite of the lack of emphasis on education, in spite of all of the obstacles that are put up in urban school systems to keep people uneducated. Do you realize, Frank, you were telling us a story about workers' comp. Roll with that, and we'll pick up what I'm talking about.
When we had hearings at workers' comp, you had to have a translator, which is only fair, of course, for people to understand what's going on at the hearing. We had people from Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras. You would have thought it was simple because they spoke Spanish, but they didn't speak Spanish, nor were they literate in the Spanish language in many cases. So the folks who are coming into the country, it's not so easy to mesh them in. But here's what the Democrats want to do. And you have to tie this in. I know this is a bit complicated with another key issue. Why the Democrats are so desperate to pass those election measures, which would do away with any kind of safeguards. You can mail-in voting without a valid signature. You could have ballot harvesting. You can just dump ballots any place, have Democrat Party operatives collect them. That's what the Democrat election legislation would do. And they're doing that because all of these folks who aren't citizens, who aren't able to understand the debate, able to understand the issues, they will get them to vote for Democrat leftist candidates by simply promising them bucks. You'll get this, you'll get that. Just vote for us. We're in favor of the poor people. You'll get all of this if you just vote for us. It's all interconnected.
Yep, but that's how they got black folks. They didn't make these promises. They had all of these pseudo things that they said represented helping black people. And this is why I say black voters are stupid. Daddy King in 1960 said, I'm going to vote for the man who helped my son. John Kennedy didn't help his son get out of jail. The man who helped his son get out of jail was, Malcolm X is credited, but it's very clear that, and that's why Coretta Scott King loved Malcolm X, because he helped her husband get out of jail in a number of different situations. When he said that if you hurt the civil rights workers, there will be retribution. Now, I'm beefing with a guy, a friend of mine who happens to be white, and he says to me, Charles, you're always talking about retribution against, bad people. Why do you want? Yeah, I mean, he sounds like a damn moron to me. Why wouldn't I want retribution against someone who hurt me? Why wouldn't I? I'm not a religious person. I am a religious person, but I'm not a minister. I'm not a pastor. I want to kick that ass. I'm not trying to be peaceful. If you mess with me, I'm going to bring as much violence as you bring to me. I'm not going to get down on my knees and pray to God to help me. What I'm going to pray to God to do while I'm standing on my feet is to help steady my hand if I'm shooting, and help me kick this guy's ass who's in front of me. But that's that whole American black men should be patient, and we've been too patient. And I tell you something, Frank. In my lifetime, I mean, I can go through instances where I have been attacked. I've never started an altercation, but I have been attacked by people, and I've defended myself. And in defending myself, the police wanted to arrest me. And by
the way, let's take this to a larger plane. That concept of abject pacifism, which is taught in our schools and our universities down the line.
Conflict resolution.
No
bullshit. You hit me, I'm gonna hit your ass back, and we can find out why you hit me in the first place.
Unfortunately, we're seeing that played out in our foreign policy as well. Look, the Taliban is now ordering Joe Biden what to do. Did you ever think you'd see a day when a bunch of primitive barbarians, I know that's not politically correct, but a bunch of primitive barbarians would order about the president of the United States as though he was a busboy in a restaurant?
Hey, listen, we saw it with Obama, dude. You forget. We saw it with Obama. Okay.
Brown had the authority to.
We saw it with Obama. Let's listen to Joe Biden and his nonsense. This Taliban leader telling us to get out. Listen.
Conduct local missions as they deem appropriate to the need. And we charge them with assessing the risk.
U.S. troops are racing to get as many people out as possible before August 31st, the deadline President Biden set months ago for a full U.S. withdrawal. Today, a Taliban spokesman warned the U.S. military not to stay a day longer.
This is something you can say it's a red line. It will deteriorate the relation, will create mistrust between us.
We believe that we have time between now and the 31st to get out any American who wants to get out.
National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan.
Right. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan. Where in the hell did Jake Sullivan come from? What the hell? He's a little college schoolboy who never been punched in the nose and tasted his own blood. His little punk. The Taliban said, you stay here past the 31st. We have a problem because you have broken your promise.
It's an utter disgrace.
Hold on, Frank. Let's include this. This is the guy that Obama let out of jail for a traitor. When Obama did that trade with Bergdahl, his most adamant supporters. I had a buddy, whenever you call this guy, Obama and him would come up on the screen because he donated. We all knew Obama in Chicago, right? They're personal friends with Obama, like my ex, personal friends with Obama. So whenever you call this guy, you'd have a picture of him and Obama holding, shaking hands. Well, guess what? He even said to me after he let Bergdahl go, he said, man, that was bad. That was horrible. And Obama's on TV. We don't leave anyone behind. We don't leave people. No, we're talking about a traitor here, dude. We're not talking about a guy who got caught. We're talking about a guy who deserted his post, you asshole. But we're supposed to be so effing stupid. And that's what Democrats do. They constantly flip the script on message like this We the People Voting Act. It's not about we the people. It's about the Democrats keeping control of the people and taking away a constitutionally mandated doctrine that the state legislatures set the voting laws of their state, not the federal government.
Exactly right. You know, just between now and August 31st, that'd be a great time to put together a couple of Moab bombs and take care of business. And I think that any responsible administration would do just that. But again, I go back to the opening of our program and the Latin phrase, cui bono, who benefits? And again, China benefits by getting all that sensitive military equipment and all the rare earths, the rare minerals that are found only in a few places on the planet, Afghanistan being one of them. Who benefits from Biden's abject disaster in Afghanistan? China. Who's on China's payroll? The Biden family.
You know, but this is what is really critical. The mainstream media will not cover it, but we are going to expose Fauci. We're going after Fauci first. And we're going to expose that Fauci is being paid by these pharmaceutical companies to promote these lockdowns. Now, Kamala Harris was on TV the other day, and she was talking about people to start buying gifts because we're going to have lockdowns at Christmas.
By the way, there's some late-breaking news about Kamala Harris.
What's that?
She was in Singapore. She was on her way to Hanoi.
Right.
The Singapore government refused to let her plane leave. The U.S. government first said that there was a medical condition in Hanoi. So it's believed to be the Havana syndrome, where U.S. diplomats are being attacked by some kind of pulse weapon, destroying their brain cells. But the Singapore government also seems to have some kind of concern. It is speculated there's a terrorist attack, possibly from the Taliban, on the plane that's flying, the Air Force Two, that's flying the vice president. So,
hey, listen, you see the smile? You can't see the smile on my face. Let them do it. Because, you know, people elected Joe Biden. I don't even know how anyone could think about voting for Joe Biden, whether you're Democrat or Republican. Joe Biden is just a bad candidate. I mean, what's his name? Sanders, bad candidate. All the women that ran for office, bad candidates. You really didn't have anyone from the Democrat side who could take the vote from Trump. So they had to create what? A pandemic. I mean, you had Fauci saying aloud on any number of occasions, Donald Trump will definitely have a pandemic during his term. How can you predict that? And if you were predicting that, why couldn't you?
One of the reasons.
Why couldn't you prevent it, Frank? If you could predict it, and you're supposed to be in charge of infectious diseases, how come you couldn't prevent it?
And of course, one of the key reasons why the Democrats are so desperate to continue the lockdown is that that'll be a viable excuse for them to say that we have to go back to the same type of voting we had in 2020, where they were able to lie and cheat their way into the White House and into the majority in Congress.
Well, all I can say is this, and you need to incorporate this in your repertoire. The James Baker, Jimmy Carter election report, election commission report said that mail-in ballots, voter harvesting, same-day registration were all key to voter fraud and susceptible to voter fraud and undermining our voting system. And that's what's in both HR1 and SR1.
That's exactly right. Charles, it's been great. I look forward to our next discussion.
No question, dude. Hey, look, have a good one, and we'll be back next week, my friend.
Looking forward to it. Take care.
All right, bye. Okay, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back here shortly. So,
Hello, this is Dan Perkins from America's Cannabis Conversation, and I'm here to talk to you about how you can take responsibility for your own health. CV Science products that can help you empower yourself against the COVID-19 virus are CV Acute and CV Defense. The Acute product is taken at an early onset of feelings of discomfort and works over 3 days to assist your immune system to fight off the virus. The second product is CV Defense, which is taken daily, and it helps to optimize the power of your immune system to fight off this virus. Recently on my program, I had an interview with Dr. Michael Lewis, who's been in public health for decades. I asked him about personal responsibility, and he said,
You are responsible for your own health. Don't count on the government to provide you with a magic pill or a magic shot for your health. That is you.
Of your health care. Go to empoweryourself.info. That's empoweryourself.info and take care of your health care.
welcome back to the Reality Check with Charles Butler. We will be launching a new platform here in a couple of weeks. So just wanted to let you know so you can be looking for me, because I'll be out there, doing my thing. And we're going to have a bigger platform, about 1 million people a week. So we're looking forward to that, looking forward to reaching a bigger group of folks. And I'm just looking forward to hanging out, man, getting back to what I used to do, which is calling folks out, calling out these politicians. In Chicago, we got this alderman named Hotskins, who there was a shooting over the weekend in a fairly upscale area at a bus, what they call party buses, those buses that drive around the city with people in them. They have food and drinks, and they're just driving around having a good time, Well, some moron, probably black, decided that he was going to shoot up the bus. So the alderman's solution to that is putting a curfew of 10 p.m. on the party buses that travel around the city. So again, remember, I told you why I left Chicago, right? Politicians, policies, and the dumbass people. Simple. Because the people in Chicago refused to stand up to the politicians and say, quit locking us down. When they took away their rights to own guns, did the people rebel? No, we're Democrats. We go along with what the Democrats are always doing what's right for the people. Well, you see what's right for the people now. Chicago is like shotgun city, man. It's like the Wild Wild West. That's why I got out, because I carry a gun. I don't want to shoot anyone. I don't want anyone to shoot me. But I know that if the bullets are going to fly, that I'm going to be the first one to engage. Now, this is how stupid the politicians are and the people are in Chicago. Oh, well, you fired first. Well, if I don't fire first, I might get shot. You threw the first punch. Well, if I don't throw the first punch, I might lose the fight. He who throws the first punch wins the fight, usually. It's not about throwing the first punch and all that grade school bullshit. It's about walking away alive, walking away with all your body parts intact. But when you have pussies like this friend of mine in Florida who talks about, well, all you talk about is retribution. Retribution for people who hurt me? Retribution for bad people? Hell yeah. And if you're not thinking about the dangers that go along in your day-to-day existence in Chicago or anywhere else, but especially places like Chicago, where you can walk out of your building and get shot. When I lived in a very upscale area in Chicago. People were getting shot in broad daylight in Millennium Park. Hello? This is not a supposition. This is not a hypothetical. It happened numerous times. Just Google shootings in Chicago Millennium Park. See what comes up. Let's do that. Let me do while I'm talking about it, right? Well, Charles, you talk about these things and you don't have any proof. Let's see. People shot in Millennium Park in Chicago. Okay. Man found shot in Millennium Park. Says he did it to himself. This was August of this year. August, a 30-year-old man was found with shotgun wounds near the Pritzker Pavilion in Millennium Park on Tuesday. Shot himself. Girl shot on Lakeshore Drive near Grant Park. She was visiting from out of town. That happened June 4th of this year. They're offering a $1,000 reward for information that leads to the arrest and conviction of the shooter. She was reportedly visiting Chicago to celebrate her mother's birthday. The girl is the 24th child shot in Chicago since May 22nd. The 24th child. Now, 12 little white kids get shot in Sunny Nook, and the country goes berserk. Oh my God, we need to take away every gun in the country. We need to shut them down. We need to confiscate all the guns, and if you don't give up your guns, you're going to prison for life. When 12 little white kids get shot. Or Columbine, 12 little white kids get shot. And a black kid was in there too, so 11 white kids, a black kid. Oh, we need to take the guns away. We need to come to your house and strip you bare, and you can't protect yourself because guns are bad. This was the 24th child shot in Chicago since the 22nd of May. So between May 22nd and when this shooting occurred in June 4th, in a month, they shot 24. Remember, I always talk about the school-age children that are shot in Chicago every year. It's about 200 kids between 5 and 19. They quit giving me that information. We're under Rahm Emanuel's regime. I don't say administration. It was a regime. Nazi regime. Fascist regime. Jew boy. Rahm Emanuel. Yes. His family came over from Europe and the oppression of the Nazis. And he brought all that Nazi bullshit right to America. Rahm Emanuel and the Emanuel brothers. There's Ezekiel Emanuel who says what he is famous for, you need to take the blue pill. If you're over 70 and you're having heart problems, you just need to take the blue pill. You should see this little fascist looking dude. He's one of those Hasidic Jews, right? Who claims to be, a descendant of Israel. Bullshit. They're descendants of ancient Europe. They're not descendants of Jews at all, especially Israeli Jews. This is too damn funny. See, people like me, I end up being shot or shot at because I tell the truth. This is all the truth, man. This is the truth. These people came here, like Rahm Emanuel's parents came here. They were supported by the Jewish League, which gave his father jobs, and they matriculated. But when black people came here from the South, they didn't have a Negro League to give people jobs and matriculate into the mainstream. And Chicago blacks were segregated. And as a matter of fact, Martin Luther King said Chicago is the most segregated city and the most hate-filled city that he'd ever been in. This is a guy in the middle of the civil rights movement who's in Montgomery, Alabama, Atlanta, Birmingham, Jackson, Mississippi. And he says, whoa, those cities don't have an iota of the hate that I felt in Chicago. In fact, he was shot in Chicago by a black woman. Anyway, who was crazy as hell. Chicago women. Okay. Anyway, 84, the Taliban tells Obama to get out. Biden. Why do I say it's Biden? Because Obama's really driving the show. Joe doesn't know what the hell he's doing. But that's just Googling shootings in Chicago, man. Just shootings in Millennium Park, not in Chicago, just Millennium Park. Man suffers apparent gun wound. Police say 9 people were arrested as crowds of young people marauded through Millennium Park and fought. Now, can you imagine me being in the middle of this crap? And some kids attacking me. Guess what? Pow, pow. Warning shot. Because the next shots, I'm scared for my life. I'm going to play the police card. I was scared for my life. So I just had to shoot. I just had to get away. I just had to shoot people. Those the fucking cops, man. That's what these cops sound like. I was scared for my life. I didn't see a gun. I wasn't shot at, but I knew that if I hadn't protected myself. Please. Cops. Their job is to go out and whip that ass, to engage people, but they can't. Why? Because they're wusses to begin with. They have these inferior, incompetent ass police on these staffs today, and they shouldn't be cops, men or women, black and white, and Latino. In fact, man, they just busted a bunch of corrupt Latino dudes. Hey, it's unreal. Let's see. At least, here we go, the Tribune. At least, this is July 6th of this year. At least 108 people were shot as Chicagoans dealt with the heat, fireworks, and crowds. Hey, I'm just going through, this is just one city. I could do the same thing for Detroit, New York, especially New York, because New York is out of control because de Blasio decided that he was going to defund the police. He was going to have medical healthcare workers to come to violent situations and talk to people about, why are you killing people? Give me a break. And then the social worker, the medical person will probably get killed because they're so damn stupid. I just want to understand why you did what you did when you... Please. These people are violent. The only thing they understand is violence. Violence begets violence. And if you don't believe that, then guess what? You will end up at a funeral procession, and it will be your funeral procession if you think that you can actually help these people. Oh my God, I forgot to call Glen Caroline, talking about guns and stuff. Oh my God. Let me call Glenn. Doggone it. I'm slipping here. Where is Glenn? I don't see Glenn's number. There it is. Okay, cool. Let's call Glenn. Glenn 9. Okay. Yep. 73381. Okay, we're going to go to break and we'll be back and we'll have Glenn with us.
Hello, this is Dan Perkins from America's Cannabis Conversation, and I'm here to talk to you about how you can take responsibility for your own health. CV Science products that can help you empower yourself against the COVID-19 virus are CV Acute and CV Defense. The Acute product is taken at an early onset of feelings of discomfort and works over 3 days to assist your immune.
Hey guys, we're coming back and we have Glen Caroline with us from Second Amendment Foundation, and we're talking about the Taliban confiscating guns in Afghanistan, just like Biden said he wanted to do here in America. Confiscate our guns, take our guns. I've talked to you about the crazy policies in Chicago and how they're implemented and how they oppress and repress law-abiding citizens who protect themselves against criminals. Hey, Glenn, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Well, look, man. These people who always talk about taking our guns, they're always protected by people who have a lot of guns. You ever notice that?
Oh, the hypocrisy knows no bounds. It's good for me, but not for thee. They surround themselves with armed security, the likes which the average American could never afford or hope to have. Yet in the same breath, they say, we don't trust you to provide your own means of self-defense. So not only is it insulting, but it makes for a very dangerous environment for the average lawful American.
Well, Charlie Rangel, I remember Charlie Rangel being interviewed about guns, and he said, well, they asked him, well, aren't you protected by guns here on the Capitol Hill? He said, oh, well, we need to be protected.
Right, as if their lives are more important than the people they work for, their constituents. So, at the end of the day, we're lucky in this country to have the Second Amendment to protect our right to keep and bear arms. Unfortunately, the Afghani people do not have that, and we're seeing with grave consequences when, terrorists and insurgents take over a country and start going door to door to confiscating arms, telling people, don't worry, you don't need these anymore, we'll keep you safe. Well, the very people they're afraid of are the ones now confiscating their guns. And I think we as Americans could learn a lot from that situation, because we have a president and an administration right now that doesn't trust the average American citizen to defend him or herself or her family. And, even though it's all the way across the globe, when terrorists and thugs start to say, we'll keep you safe, just give us your arms, we should all take notice and realize ultimately we're responsible for our own safety and security.
But most people don't want to take responsibility for their own safety.
Well, look, one of the great things about this country, the freedom, is we have choice. And there are 100 million law-abiding gun owners. I'm one of them. And if an individual American chooses not to exercise that choice for whatever reason, he or she doesn't want a gun, they don't feel safe with a gun, they don't have, that's their choice. All I ask of them is to respect the choice of the other millions of Americans who feel that owning a firearm is the best means for self-defense.
Well, let's listen to Charlie as he talks about, as he mentioned back in 2016.
There's so many policemen that don't know how to say, not in my police force, you don't do that. And that's the biggest thing we have to get rid of. It's so sad. It's just so very sad.
But one of the things that people tend to wonder is that hardly anybody, getting a New York City concealed carry permit is so rare. And the only people who tend to get it are the very connected, very wealthy, or if you happen to know the right guy in the NYPD, he'll help you.
That's wrong, but I'm glad to hear you say that very few people can get it. We don't need that many guns, and I didn't know that briberies were involved in getting a gun, and that is wrong. But overall, if it's difficult to get a concealed weapon permit, I'm glad to hear that.
But why is it that only the
well, that's corruption,
well,
and I don't.
Celebrities and then the people in your district, a number of them who are law-abiding citizens, many of them would want to carry a concealed carry permit.
I wouldn't want them to have it. I know what you're trying to say.
But
corruption is bad.
Okay, but let's talk about that for a second. Why should, say, the uber wealthy who have protection, had that protection, but individuals who are law-abiding citizens in your district should not? Let's talk about that.
Well, law-abiding citizens just shouldn't have to carry a gun. You know that. So you're not going to push me in that direction.
But you're protected by guns all over the place here in the Capitol.
Well, that's a little different. I think we need to be protected down here.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Rangel.
You hear that? Did you hear that?
Look, to hear Charlie Rangel laugh about this and think this is funny just shows how out of touch he is with everyday Americans. It's offensive to say that a lawful American citizen shouldn't have the right to choose for him or herself to own a gun. And it's equally offensive in the state of New York that only the wealthy and well-connected are able to get a permit to defend themselves. This is a constitutional right afforded to all lawful American citizens, regardless of where they live. And we need lawmakers who are sworn to uphold and protect the Constitution to understand and acknowledge that and start respecting our rights instead of trying to chip away at them and restrict further access by lawful citizens to make their own decisions.
Well, the thing that I remember one night, I had an incident, never forget this. I was living in San Diego, and I had just moved into an area, bought a condo with brand new development, all white. And white people wanted me to move out who'd moved in after me, right? Because I moved in the first phase. And so people were at my door, twisting my door handle like they were going to break in. So I got up and I went to the front door and I saw these two guys out at my door like they were trying to break in, right? So I I went to the bedroom and I picked up the phone and I called, the 911. I said, hey, I'm speaking in a low voice, right? Hey, someone's at my front door. Can you send the police? And I gave him my address. And the guy said, sir, I can't hear you. And I repeated it. And he said, sir, I can't hear you. And I repeated it. He said, if you don't speak up, then I'm going to hang up on you. And at that point, something clicked in my brain because I got a 38 special in my drawer that right over my head where I'm making this call from in my vestibule. And I didn't raise my voice and I didn't get angry. And I said, if you don't send the police over to my address, then you can send them for an attempted B&E or a homicide. And I hung up the phone and I put on my shorts, gym shorts, got it, opened up my dresser drawer, looked at my gun. I had 6 bullets in it, closed it up, and went to the front door to address and confront the people who were trying to break in my door that I thought were trying to break in my door. They were just trying to scare me. So after I told my neighbors that I had come to my door with a gun, and I went outside looking for these people, never had that happen again because they realized the ass could have been shot. Okay. So
well, first, I'm glad you put your gym shorts on to go to the door. That was probably the first smart move. But your story really illustrates what happens across the country every day in the United States. One of the most underreported or ignored thing by the so-called mainstream media is the fact that guns are used by law-abiding citizens far more often for self-defense than they are to commit a crime.
Right.
In fact, upwards of more than 1 million times a year, law-abiding citizens will use a firearm to defend themselves. And in many of these instances, no shot is ever fired. The mere presence of the gun, brandishing the gun, is enough to defuse the situation and save somebody's life. Yet we have politicians in the United States of America that choose to ignore those defensive uses and seek to pass laws that are only going to be obeyed by law-abiding citizens and are going to be ignored by criminals and make a criminal's job easier because citizens are going to be disarmed, just like they are in Washington, D.C., just like they are in Chicago, just like they are in Detroit.
I had a situation in Washington, D.C. I was dating a woman. This guy came over who she had broken up with him. He climbed on the roof, dude, trying to break in the house. So I said to her, where's your gun? She said, I don't have one. I live in D.C. I said, well, baby, you need to get a gun. This is back in about, this must have been like 92 or 93. Well, actually, it was before then. And it tickled me to death that she didn't have a gun. And so what I did was I called the guy's home, had the lights and the gas turned off at his house. We never had any more problems from him from that point on. I guess he figured if this guy had the lights and the gas turned off at my house, what could he do with me? And I told him, dude, don't mess with Denise because, this is just the beginning. I'm going to make your life. He was a doctor, an MD. I said, I'm going to make your life miserable if you keep messing with this woman because you're messing with me because I'm trying to get this trim, right? I'm trying to, get this sex. And all of a sudden everybody's upset because of this numbskull. So needless to say, he left her alone after I had his lights and all his utilities turned off, But and that was a good thing. But the guy scared us to death because he's climbing around on the roof trying to break in the house. Because she lived she had like a loft kind of thing, right? And he was trying to break in the upper floor. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, very often individual citizens are on their own when a crime is happening. Unfortunately, police can't be around us 24 hours, 7 days a week to intervene at the point of a crime. They do the best they can, and we have an entire movement now in the country by the radical left to defund the police. In one moment, they're saying, we want less police, we're going to cut their resources, and the next breath they're saying, but we're also going to take your guns away, which has one scratching his head as to how citizens are going to provide for their own safety.
Well, they don't want you to provide for your own safety. And then this is the thing about Chicago police. And I talk to them all the time. And they say this about when they get a 911 call. We don't want to get there too early to deal with the situation. In essence, they don't want to get there to intercede or intercept the criminal. They want the criminal to commit the crime and leave. So they take their time about showing up. This is documented time and time again, where police and police cars are in position to intercept and intercede in a criminal act, but they choose not to because it's easier to show up later.
Well, I can assure you, I'm sure I speak for most Americans when I would say if it was your mother or your daughter or your grandmother who is on the verge of being assaulted or raped or, God forbid, murdered, most Americans would want to have the means to defend themselves immediately and not be victimized. And really, in today's society, that's what the Second Amendment is all about. It's providing the means for individuals to protect themselves and their loved ones from criminal attack. We see crime rates skyrocketing all across major cities right now for a variety of reasons. Cities are getting more dangerous, yet we have anti-gun politicians who want to make us less safe. And I think that's a disservice to the constituents because at the end of the day, if you're an elected official, you should uphold and swear your fidelity to the Constitution, and you should be doing right by your constituents to make sure you're giving them every opportunity to be safe from potential criminals.
Well, I think, when they wanted me to run for office, one of the things that that the people liked about me is I talked about I was going to work for them, not for Obama, not for the Republican Party, not for the Democratic Party. That's going to work for the people in my district. And the people in my district deserve to live, to pursue life, liberty, and happiness, not deal with some morons. Like if you look up Charles Butler must go. These morons are thinking they can tell me what to say and how to think. They don't understand. I would shoot each and every one of them. I don't care I hate black criminals. I hate black gang members. I don't dislike them. I hate them because 9 times out of 10, they're killing a law-abiding black person who's trying to make it out here. They're stealing from black people trying to make it. And then you have ignorant ass people like what's his name? Al Sharpton. And well, we need to understand that the white man ain't stealing. The white man ain't shooting you. The white man ain't making you go in your house at night when the sun go down. It is these black people who are out of control and the police who refuse to put them in their place.
Well, I think most Americans, when they're on the verge of being assaulted, aren't too concerned about what their potential attacker looks like. They just want to make sure that they're given a fighting chance to defend themselves. And that gets back to
something's wrong with your phone. Can't hear you. It came across.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, better.
Yeah, I was just saying that the Second Amendment really is our ultimate insurance policy to be able to protect ourselves. And it should apply equally to all law-abiding Americans.
But
if you're but it should. If you're a law-abiding, qualified American citizen, it shouldn't matter your race, your creed, your color, any of that, because we're all Americans and we're all entitled to the same Second Amendment rights by our Constitution. And at the end of the day, as I just said a moment ago, I don't know if you heard me, at the point when somebody's being confronted or attacked, I don't think they're seeing the race of an individual. All they're worried about is, am I going to be able to protect myself and my family?
Well, the race is going to be someone who looks like you. I know if someone attacks me, it's generally going to be a person who is a black person. That's just the statistics say. 86% is black on black crime. 84% is white on white crime. Then you have 12% black on white and 14% black white on black. So I mean, those are the statistics. That's the way it plays out. Hey, look, guys. Hey, Red State folks, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow with a great show on Wednesday. So don't make sure you tune in. I'm going to sign off right now and give you a little goodbye music here, and we'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place, 2:00 Central Time. Okay, we're going to go back to our YouTube folks, and I'm going to take a little break right now and go to a commercial.
Hello,
and we'll be back. So stay with me.
I'm here to talk to you about how you can take responsibility for your own health. CV Science products that can help you empower yourself against the
Whoa, boy, I tell you, that was something.
And CV Defense. The acute product is taken at an early onset of feelings of discomfort.
If you want, I want to give you a chance to close out.
The second product is HPV defense, which is taken daily, and it helps you
know,
optimize the power of your immune system to fight off this virus.
We'll,
Recently on my program, I had an interview with Dr. Michael Lewis, who's been in public health for decades.
We'll
I asked him
close
about
that
personal
out.
responsibility, and he said,
You are responsible for your own
Okay.
health. Don't count on the government to provide you with a magic pill or a magic shot for your health. That is your personal responsibility.
if you want to empower yourself and take control of your healthcare, go to empoweryourself.info. That's empoweryourself.info and take care of your healthcare.
Okay, welcome back. Welcome back to the Reality Check with Charles Butler. We got a few minutes here after the hour. We're going to allow Mr. Glen Caroline to close out, his thoughts about they're confiscating guns in Afghanistan. But Joe Biden wanted to confiscate our guns. He came and said, I'm going to take all your guns. I'm going to appoint, what's his name down in Texas? Benito or somebody. What was his name? The guy. Who?
I'm sorry. What position are you talking about?
The guy he was going to appoint to take all our guns. His name was Benito or somebody. The guy who was running for president out of Texas.
Beto O'Rourke.
Beto O'Rourke, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was going to appoint Beto O'Rourke, and I'm going to take all your assault. There are no assault weapons on the streets of Chicago, of America. By definition, there are no assault weapons. And an AR-15 is not an assault weapon. You would not walk into a combat environment with an AR-15. I'm sorry. It is not an assault weapon. It's not a M16. It's not a M4. It is a model of a assault weapon, but it is not an assault weapon because it's not automatic fire. Okay, and it's single fire. So assault rifles have different selections. You can go auto, full auto. You can go semi-auto, 3 bursts, boom, 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 boom. Or you can go full auto. Brr, brr. If you and the thing about that is, it's not like TV. See, in TV, people have limitless ammunition. In the military, you have the ammunition you carrying on your back. Okay, that's it. So if you're gonna spray all your ammunition out, guess what? Click, click, click when you need it. There's not where you can't say time out. Let me run over to the store and pick up a pack. I pick up a pack of M16 ammo. Oh man, that's too funny. That is funny, isn't it, Glenn?
It is. It is. But what's not funny is what's going on in Afghanistan right now. What's not funny is that we have elected officials who seek to disarm the American public. And, our Second Amendment is at risk right now with this administration. So for all your listeners who believe in the Second Amendment, whether they've been active or not, now is the time to step up their activism and making sure they contact their lawmakers in opposition to more gun control, to make sure as the 2022 elections roll around, they're helping out and voting for pro-Second Amendment politicians, because victory for us is not assured and it won't happen by accident. But if we all stand together, if we all unite, if we all get active and participate, that's the recipe for us protecting our valuable Second Amendment rights. And I'm happy to direct people to the Second Amendment Foundation's website at www.saf.org for more information on current threats to our rights and how they can get more involved in the fight.
Yeah. I tell you, I look at those people in Afghanistan, and they have a hell of a road to hoe. They have a hell of a road to hoe, man.
Indeed.
And but you know what? I don't feel sorry for the Americans, Glenn, who are left behind because they were told to get out, and they should have gotten out. They should have taken. Trump told them, get out. We're pulling out. And they decided to stay. Okay. Hello?
Yep. No, I was just letting you finish. Look, getting back to the Second Amendment, that's what really motivates me to wake up every day. I don't like the direction the Biden administration is taking this debate, and I would urge all Second Amendment supporters out there to not just be a supporter of the right, but to be an active participant in standing up for that right.
Yeah, they're taking guns away from the people so they can go in and slaughter them and behead them. And Biden would do the same thing. And Biden and Sanders and the rest of these people would do the same things for us. Yep.
Too many politicians out there just don't respect the Second Amendment, seek to blame law-abiding gun owners.
The good thing is, Clarence Thomas has said you're going to have to take on the gun rights issue. You're going to have to take on the Second Amendment issue. It is part of the Constitution. We cannot keep ducking Second Amendment issues.
Right. And luckily, in just a few months from now, there'll be a case that's rising up to the Supreme Court that talks about New York's very restrictive permit issuing system that hopefully is going to be resolved favorably. And once again, in fact, an individual right, and it means you're allowed to carry your firearms outside of your home to protect yourself. And, that's an application we want to apply to all lawful Americans all across the country, because one's right to self-defense certainly doesn't stop at his or her own state border.
That's true. I mean, we had that in Chicago, man. I'm telling you, these people, they just don't get it. They will do any and everything to disarm the American people, dude.
That's why we have to unite, and that's why we have to stay active, engaged. This is a fight worth fighting, and it's a necessary fight. And I think working together, we can prove once again that those of us in the United States that support the Second Amendment, we can accomplish great things when we make our voices known to our politicians. So I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you today, Charles.
Thank you. Thank you, Glenn. I appreciate you taking the time to stick with us. Have a good one, my friend. All right.
All right, buddy. Bye-bye.
All right. It's Glenn. He's gone. Hey, look, folks. I'm going to go back to the chat room out here. It says here, let's see. Let's see. Oops. Sorry, Brenda. Forgot to respect my elders. I believe you, ma'am. Okay. What was that about? Let's see here. What was that about? They're brought to tears. What is this about? Get on the chat room here. Let me put on my glasses. That might help. Let's see. I'm not a big Fox Soul fan. I watch you on YouTube. I was a fan of Don Cornelius. Okay. Let's see here. Let me go up. Oh, this is good. Okay. Let's see. Tom says, me no speak English. No speaky English. Speaky Spanish. Let's see. I would bet dollars to donuts that the CIA director that met with the Taliban leader was nothing more than a bag man delivering cash to bribe the Taliban. I think you're right, Tom. That's no question. Wow, we didn't get notification until 1426. I don't know what that was about. This is how ironic that you wasn't watching the clock. Was that late? Okay, good show on Soul. Roberts Watches says good show on Fox Soul. Thank you. You can go on YouTube. I uploaded it to YouTube to my channel. I agree with Robert Watches. I saw it too. Great, Brenda. Thank you. Being fans of the Janir, let's see. I know the two of you must be fans of Don Cornelius. No, this is not about music, dude. So this is not about music. This was Fox Soul is black folks talking, and they're not all doing Soul Train stuff. It's about, people I go, when I go, hey, I'm gonna talk, I'm on the radio. Oh, you're a DJ. Oh, fuck no, I'm not a DJ. I'm a talk show host. I'm a commentator. Okay, I'm not a big fan. Senator that watch you on YouTube is a fan of Don Cornelius. Let's say I was studying. Think if you were too young to remember that. Okay. 59 in October says Roberts Watches. I didn't realize you're that old. Watch before reruns. Yeah, it was cool. I'll never forget the time he picked Rick James in place. He put Rick James in place on live TV. Wow. Yeah, Don was serious, dude. Says Jerry B says, Charles, be careful. You're talking too much truth. Yeah, it's true. Old Don, don't play and suffered no fools. Didn't play and didn't suffer any fools. That's true. Damn, Robert watches. We're in the same boat. We're pushing that big 6-0 number. Tom's lying. Tom pushing 70. Let's see. Let's see. Tom says Charles swears I'm more ancient. Don't believe him. Yes, true. I just did, didn't I? Yeah, but we're still here. Let's see. Many are not. That's true. I got a few years on you, says Brenda, by 2. She's telling the tale. She's got you by 10. Brenda, are you just trying to make us feel better? Yes, she is. Let's see here. Tom says, those look like sarcastic tears. Talking about the smiley face. They're laughing tears. Let's see here. From Baltimore, said, I'm serious. Rangel doesn't need a gun. He can just cough up some of that thick phlegm that's always rattling in his throat and spit it at an attacker. That's how gross. Tom also goes, fair enough. I believe you. Then, oops. Sorry, Brenda. I forgot to respect my elders. I believe you. Let's say, ha, ha, ha. From Brenda, say that for CB. I'm really young. I feel you guys are seriously on my ass today. Okay, gotcha. I'm game for any age, dear. Okay, legal, of course. Well, we know, Tom, you're next cop. You about that illegal trim. Jerry B says, amen. Preach, Reverend Butler. I don't know what I was preaching about, but I was preaching about something. Anyway, Tom says, at Jerry B, he does not preach the truth, but he does preach the truth, but he has a pitchfork, not a halo. That's horrible, man. Then Tom goes on to say he had one, but they repossessed it. Jerry B says Charles is an angel of justice, has a halo. God does not like evil. And Tom comes back with, I wasn't implying that he was evil at all. He's a man of God. For sure, I am a man of God. Just took his halo temporarily for being honorary. Man, I'm not honorary. He stole the pitchfork from the demon to beat folks with it. Yeah, babe, probably. Hey, look. So look, I want to hit this Taliban thing one more time because, Joe Biden has gotten caught off his square, and Barack Obama's typical Obama, capitulate to the foreigner, capitulate to anyone, bend over, take it in the shorts without KY. So Peter Ducey asked Psaki about. She said it's irresponsible to say that we've abandoned Americans in Afghanistan. Well, it's the truth.
Thank you, Jen. There are Taliban fighters right now carrying American weapons. They're wearing American fatigues, the full kit of gear. How is that advancing America's national security interests?
Well, Peter, I think my colleague Jake Sullivan spoke to a version of this last week. But let me tell you, let me reiterate some of what he said. When the president made this decision to bring our men and women home from Afghanistan who were serving, he knew he made that decision not lightly. He made the decision with a clear assessment from his national security team about what the impacts could be. We have taken steps over the past few months to retrograde materials, to bring materials home, to make them not available to the Taliban. We have taken those steps from our military. But our choices at hand, the president's choices at hand, were either to equip the Afghan National Security Forces with the materials and the equipment and the weapons they needed to fight, or not. He made the decision to equip them with the weapons to fight. And we will continue to take steps to make them not available to the Taliban. We have taken those steps from our military. But our choices at hand, the president's choices at hand, were either to equip the Afghan National Security Forces with with the materials and the equipment and the weapons they needed to fight or not. He made the decision to equip them with the weapons to fight. And we will continue to take steps to retrograde our materials and equipment.
But does the president have a sense that most of the criticism is not of leaving Afghanistan, it's the way that he has ordered it to happen by pulling the troops before getting these Americans who are now stranded?
Well, he said it's irresponsible to say that Americans are stranded. That's how Psaki attacks him. And it's really interesting, but she's lying. Listen.
I'm just calling you out for saying that we are stranding Americans in Afghanistan when we have been very clear that we are not leaving Americans who want to return home. We are going to bring them home. And I think that's important for the American public
for $2,000
to hear and understand.
Okay, and then following up on what somebody asked, Jake, the president likes to say America is back, but his policies have Americans getting beat up by the Taliban and Afghans handing babies over barbed wire fences. Is that what he meant when he said America is back?
What the president meant is that we are going to continue to lead in the world, including being the leaders in evacuating not just our Afghan partners, not just America.
Oh, well, Psaki gets socked again. Ducey slipped one in on her. He hit her, bam. Hit her with a couple of jabs, bam, bam. You're stranding Americans and you're charging $2,000 to get them out while you're flying illegals all over the country for free. What's wrong with that picture? Again, you elected these fucking Democrats. Excuse my language. You elected these, and Republicans are like this too. So, I mean, all of these damn politicians need to be called to check. This is our money. It's the people's money. So they think they can just tax you more money. That's why I'm moving the hell out of the U.S. I'm going to move my black ass to Costa Rica, become an Irish citizen where I'm paying 12% flat tax on all my income, maybe pay a little tax to Costa Rica, but I don't have to deal with this madness that we're calling America today, being policemen of the world, sending our young men around the world to lose their limbs. I saw a woman down here going in a Walmart the other day, and she had a little bitty piece of her right arm. It had been blown off. I knew she was a vet. So I walked up to her and said, "Hey, miss, thank you for your service. Sorry for your sacrifice." She said, "Thank you, sir. I'm working on it. I'm hanging in." Hey, it didn't have to happen. It didn't have to go down that way. But see, we want to fight these wars with a hand tied behind our back and talk about, being righteous and all this other crap. There's nothing righteous about war. I remember one thing, and I say this all the time. General LeMay said, if we lose this war, meaning World War II, I will be tried as a war criminal, because he bombed Dresden, firebombed Dresden, wiped it out. Firebombed Tokyo, wiped it out. All the civilians gone. He said, "I'll be a war criminal if the Germans win, if the Japanese win. I'll be tried as a war criminal." He's absolutely right. So one man's hero, another man's terrorist. And 9/11's coming up. I won't be traveling on 9/11. I can tell you that. Anyway, look, I'm done with the show today. We're going to ease on out of here. And we'll be back tomorrow. Same time, same place. Tune us in. Be good.